Writing for video is a particular type of composition. There are whole books written about how to write dialogue-intensive films. For this lesson, we're going to focus on how to write when you are the one doing the performance. As we mentioned in a previous video, one of the key decisions you'll have to make is whether you want to work from a prompt, whether you want to write an outline, or whether you want to write down a script word for word. If you are just doing a prompt, this is the simplest type. This is like giving a whole speech with just a single index card. This could be the title of your presentation, or the question that you are answering. This is the option to choose if you want to freestyle, if essentially you just want something to start you off, something to glance at before you start speaking into the camera. So you may be just writing down your introduction, or perhaps an intro and an outro as well. In most cases, we recommend that you write an outline for your talk, even if you plan on writing a full script down the road. There are several reasons for this. One is that if you write an outline, you are more likely to have an actual structure to your talk. With an outline, you can also more easily create time codes, the time codes that will help people find the specific parts of your video and to find your video in the first place. With an outline, you can simply create a bullet-pointed or numbered list. You can easily move things around. You can print things in large font so that you can glance at them very easily and then get back to doing your performance. Scripting, as we mentioned, can work best if you want to create subtitles or captions for your video, which can be very important for accessibility. The key thing to remember here is that if you're used to writing for a reader, in this case you are also writing for a listener and a viewer, so you're going to need to change your writing accordingly. One option you might consider would be to use voice-to-text software to draft your speech, because this could result in a more conversational tone, a more personal writing style, and something that's easier to perform in front of the camera. Another key is if you are using a teleprompter. With a teleprompter, you're trying to read from a very small screen. You can only fit so much text in there. You also have to control the pace at which the teleprompter scrolls. So this might affect how you write as well. You might want shorter sentences. You will need to practice and see, can you keep pace with the teleprompter, or does it seem like your sentences are too wordy? In most cases, you'll probably end up cutting out words and streamlining things so that your speech is easier to listen to. For any of these options, ideally you want to write things down, you want to sleep on it, and then you want to go back and revise accordingly. See, have I left anything out? Is there anything I can trim? Does the order of things make sense, or should I move things around? Consider doing a dry run using your prompt or your outline or your script to see if things flow naturally or if you want to change your speaking style. The other important thing to keep in mind during this composition process, and we will say this again and again, is to write for the editor. So especially if you are freestyling, you want to be very careful that you don't run on, that you divide things up, and you end up with footage that is actually editable. One final tip for now, particularly if you're doing a relatively long video, is to write down stage directions for yourself. So not just the words that you're saying, but also when you should pause, when you should take a breath, when you should change the pace or tone of your speech. I know for myself, when I'm doing a public talk using PowerPoint or some other type of presentation, often on my script I'll actually write down slide or click so that I remember at that point to actually advance the slide and move on to the next part of the talk. Your homework for this lesson is one thing: write an outline. It doesn't matter what you eventually choose to do, whether you do the prompt or the outline or the script as your standard. Try doing an outline, see if it works for you, and make sure that you are outlining not just for yourself as a performer, but also for the viewer and for the platform.